Imagine you're driving through a quiet valley. The road ahead looks like a steep climb. You stop your car, you shift into neutral, you take your foot off the brake, and then something impossible happens. Instead of rolling backward, your car begins moving forward, straight toward what appears to be the top of the hill. You stare in disbelief. You try again, the same result. Then someone places a bottle on the road. It rolls uphill. Another person pours water onto the asphalt. Even the water seems to climb. For a moment, everything you've ever believed about gravity feels wrong. And that's exactly why thousands of people travel to places like this every year. Not just in one country, but across the world. Some visitors leave convinced they have witnessed a miracle. Others believe these roads are surrounded by mysterious forces. Every location has its own story. Every culture has its own explanation. And every generation adds another legend. But here's the strange part. These mysterious roads exist on different continents, under different skies, among people who have never shared the same history. So why do they all tell similar stories? Could the impossible really be happening? Or is something else creating the illusion? Tonight, we're beginning a journey across the globe, following one mystery that has confused travelers, inspired legends, and challenged common sense for decades. No mystery begins with science. It begins with a story. Imagine arriving at an unfamiliar road for the very first time. Someone smiles and says, "Put your car in neutral." You do. The vehicle starts moving toward what looks like the top of the hill. Immediately, your mind starts searching for answers. Maybe there's something unusual beneath the road. Maybe the place is special. Maybe the stories are true. That single experience is enough for a legend to begin. One person tells another. Visitors record videos. The internet spreads the mystery. Within a few years, a quiet stretch of asphalt becomes famous around the world. And that's exactly what has happened, not once, but dozens of times. Across Asia, Europe, North America, and beyond, people have discovered roads that appear to defy gravity. Each one has a different name. Each one has a different history. But every one of them asks the same question. How can a car roll uphill? We'll travel to some of the world's most famous, mysterious roads, where local legends, strange experiences, and scientific investigations collide. And as the evidence begins to unfold, you may discover that the greatest illusion was never on the road. It was inside the human mind. At first, it feels like an isolated mystery. One strange road, one impossible experience, one unexplained story. But the deeper you investigate, the stranger it becomes. Because this phenomenon isn't limited to one country or one culture. It's everywhere. From the deserts of the Middle East to the mountains of Asia, the forests of North America, and the quiet countryside of Europe, roads with the same impossible behavior continue to attract thousands of curious visitors every year. Each place tells a different story, yet somehow they all lead to the same mystery. Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, a lonely stretch of road has become one of the country's most talked about attractions. Visitors stop their cars, shift into neutral, and watch in amazement as the vehicle appears to climb the hill by itself. Some people arrive expecting nothing. Others leave completely convinced they have witnessed something extraordinary. Videos spread quickly online. Every recording raises the same question. How is this possible? But no two visitors explain it the same way. India. Thousands of kilometers away, another mysterious road tells a completely different story. Locals have passed down tales for generations. Some believe the road has a special connection to the surrounding mountains. Others simply call it a place where nature behaves differently. Travelers line up to test it themselves. Some laugh, some remain silent, because what they experience seems to challenge everything they know about gravity. Scotland. Across the hills of Scotland, there is another famous road. The landscape is peaceful. The air is quiet. Nothing about the place looks unusual. Yet people stop here every day, just to watch their cars move in a direction that appears impossible. Over the years, stories have grown around the location. Every generation adds another explanation. Every visitor leaves with another theory. But the road never says a word. The United States. In parts of the United States, similar roads have inspired some of the most emotional legends of all. One local story speaks of a tragic school bus accident. According to the legend, if drivers stop at a certain point and place their cars in neutral, invisible hands gently push the vehicle to safety. Many visitors even check their bumpers afterward, believing they might find tiny handprints. Whether those stories are true or simply local folklore, they continue to draw curious travelers from around the world. Because sometimes, a powerful story can become just as famous as the place itself. By now, one thing is becoming clear. Different countries, different languages, different cultures, different legends. Yet the exact same phenomenon. Can all these places really possess mysterious forces? Or have we been asking the wrong question all along? Maybe the mystery isn't hidden beneath the road. Maybe it's hidden in the way we see it. To find the answer, we'll need more than stories. We'll need measurements, evidence, and science. Because in the next chapter, the investigation finally begins. Every mystery begins with a story, but every investigation begins with a question. What if these roads aren't breaking the laws of physics? What if they're exposing a weakness in the way humans see the world? To answer that question, researchers decided to ignore the legends and examine the roads themselves. Not with rumors, not with beliefs, but with measurements. Surveying equipment was brought in. Precision leveling instruments were used. Engineers compared the road with the surrounding landscape. And for the first time, they stopped trusting what their eyes were telling them. Because our eyes can be surprisingly easy to fool. Imagine standing in a room where every wall is slightly tilted. Within minutes, your brain begins accepting that tilted room as normal. Without realizing it, your sense of balance quietly changes. The same thing can happen outdoors. On certain roads, the surrounding hills, the angle of the horizon, the trees, and the shape of the landscape all combine to create a powerful visual illusion. The road appears to climb, but appearances can be deceiving. To test the mystery, investigators didn't begin with cars. They started with something much simpler: a bottle, a ball, water. Each object seemed to move toward what looked like the top of the hill. To anyone standing there, it felt impossible. But the instruments told a completely different story. The road wasn't climbing. It was descending, very gently. So gently that your eyes interpreted it the wrong way. In other words, gravity had never changed. Only our perception had. And that's where this mystery becomes truly fascinating. Because the illusion isn't created by the road alone. It's created inside the human brain. Every second, your brain uses the horizon, nearby objects, and the surrounding landscape to decide which direction is up and which direction is down. Remove a clear horizon, tilt the surrounding terrain, or hide important visual references, and your brain can make a surprisingly confident yet completely incorrect decision. That's why two people standing in the exact same place almost always experience the same illusion. The road never changed, their perception did. But one question still remains. If the explanation is so simple, why do thousands of intelligent people still leave convinced they witnessed something impossible? The answer lies in one of the most powerful features of the human mind, our instinct to trust our own eyes. And in the final chapter, we'll discover why that instinct can sometimes lead us to believe the impossible. After centuries of stories, countless theories, and thousands of amazed visitors, the mystery finally comes down to one simple question. What if the road was never the illusion? What if we were? To find the answer, investigators changed their perspective. Instead of standing on the road, they moved above it. Using aerial photography, drone footage, topographic maps, and professional surveying tools, they viewed the landscape from an angle no human eye experiences while standing on the ground. And suddenly, everything changed. The road that appeared to rise was actually descending. Not dramatically, only by a small amount, but enough for gravity to do exactly what it has always done: pull objects downhill. The mystery wasn't hidden beneath the asphalt. It was hidden in the landscape surrounding it. Nearby hills leaned at unusual angles. Trees and distant terrain distorted the true horizon. Without a reliable horizon, the human brain created its own reference point, and that reference point was wrong. What looked like an uphill climb was actually a gentle downhill slope. The bottle, the water, the rolling car, none of them were breaking the laws of physics. They were following them perfectly. Only our perception had failed. And that's what makes these places so extraordinary. Not because they defeat gravity, but because they reveal something remarkable about the human mind. They remind us that seeing is not always believing. Our brains don't simply record reality, they interpret it. Every second, they combine light, distance, angles, shadows, and the horizon into a picture that feels completely accurate. Most of the time, that picture is correct. Sometimes it isn't. And when it isn't, an ordinary road can become a global mystery. Today, more than 100 of these locations have been identified around the world. Each has its own name, its own legends, its own local stories. Yet almost all of them share the same scientific explanation. They are known as gravity hills, places where the landscape tricks the human visual system into misjudging the true slope of the road. The mystery survives, not because gravity fails, but because our minds are incredibly good at building a believable illusion. So the next time you watch a car appear to roll uphill, don't ask, has gravity stopped working? Ask something even more fascinating. How did my brain become so certain about something that wasn't true? Because sometimes the greatest mysteries are not hidden in the world around us. They're hidden inside the way we experience it. Thank you for joining this journey. If you know of another mysterious place that challenges what people believe, leave it in the comments. It might be the next mystery we investigate. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the world is full of wonders. Some exist in nature, others exist in the extraordinary way our minds understand it.